Welcome to Emotional Breakdowns, and we're here one more time with Lori Zariel from Work It, and we're going to talk about what, Lori?
Analysis paralysis. That's the topic today.
Analysis is paralysis. So there is this type of personality, we're going to call it, because we're with the personality guru here, Lori, and personality wise, there is a personality that thinks a lot, that analyzes everything they're going to do. And in this analysis, you get lost in time and you don't see how long goes by, and you still analyzing something that you could already be doing, right?
Right. I think what you just said is the experiences that you and I have felt for all of our lifetime so far. And
Yes.
we finally have come to realize that we can live with it, and we don't have to get so frustrated with those personalities. So thank you for having me again.
Welcome.
And we've changed the scenery a little bit. We're in Ada Rios's office, and this office is an office where a lot of people who have analysis paralysis have witnessed the effects of having that as their personality strength. And when Ada was just talking about going into a paralysis mode with your need to analyze and research, can definitely bring people to a place of unhealthy.
And that's exactly what I come from, right? When you get unhealthy. I do hypnotherapy and biodecoding, and with that therapy, the last 3 years after all this pandemic and everything, it's like people got into their heads more. They got you into here, but the program is not the right program. So they come with anxiety, depression, stress. We started in the 90s with stress, right? A lot of people didn't even know what it was, but they had stress, right? Because it was the trendy word.
True.
Right? And
It's
so
true.
when this happened, and then everybody went to their head, then comes the analysis, because you're not believing what your body is feeling. You're believing what your head is saying. And the head can go, I don't know how many thoughts minute or second, 80,000 a minute, something like that. When I hear it, I'm like, what? Can you imagine? So that's what we're talking about. Analysis is paralysis. So with Lori, there is almost like 4 categories with extremes, right, Lori? Where do you put the personalities? And which is the personality that you will say you will relay with people who thinks more? If it's just 1 or 2, or what can you tell us about those personalities?
So when I do a personality assessment, there's one particular area that can identify as an analyzer, and that's the learning style. So your learning style is something that we discover in my program, and 70% of the world, in my world so far, have really identified as researchers, people who like to analyze data.
What is the, sorry to interrupt, what is that number that you mentioned in there, Lori?
70% of the world.
70% of, I want to, stress that, because it's the majority of the world out there, right?
It is. It is. So because I'm opposite, Ada is also opposite of those 70%ers, we really have to stretch ourselves to be able to understand the word stress in today's terms, understand the word anxiety, understand the word
depression.
Yeah, I was gonna say depression. When you've overanalyzed something, it can depress you. It can depress you. You've taken no action, but you've analyzed every possible result, but you've taken no action.
And most of those, most of what they're seeing and the story they're seeing is very negative. So that's where anxiety takes place, And talking about depression, I'm gonna go back to that because I have a saying where I said, "Oh no, I don't let that lady come into my house." It's a Spanish phrase I made, but it makes so much time because for me, my house, my temple is my body, my home. So it's like, why will I let something come into my reality? Because it's a choosing every day that we have, but not a lot of the people uses this power that we have, and it has to do with the personality, right, Lori? Why? Because you're in one of these extremes, or you're maybe in the middle. And when I said extreme, for example, I'm very outgoing, and I have a daughter that is not outgoing, right? So she tends to analyze a lot. And analysis is paralysis. And overthinking can get you into those mental conditions, right?
And not allow you to move forward in life. So you may find yourself at 50 years old and look around to other people that are at 50 years old and have achieved so much more than you have. And you start to have a pity party about why you didn't take that risk at 30 years old when they did. So that's what I just said earlier is they've taken no action, but they've done a heck of a lot of research.
Yes. So analysis is paralysis, and that big percentage of the world, it's in a space where they're still analyzing. And I said, you can talk all you want, and you can think all you want, but how many times a day do you walk your talk? Right? And that's where this action comes.
And that's where I think where my program comes in is for those people that are researchers and detail-oriented and fact-based learners. We, with my program, Work It, we actually create a 7-step plan that actually is actions. So it actually releases some of that stress of not knowing whether it's the right step or not, and then putting deadlines to it. So that at that 50-year-old is now able to do everything that they intended to do or would like to do based on what they see others have accomplished.
And you throw a lot of really important words in there, for this type of personality. And one of them that really clicked in me was deadline, right? Because a lot of us cannot work without deadlines, right? But during this deadline, you're analyzing so much that some of the things, the details, you got them all. But there is another part that it's going to be like the engine that is going to push that. And with Lori's test, I learned with my son that if I will give him a deadline, everything will work. Every chore in the house will be done if I will give him a deadline. So just finding that is like a treasure that a lot of the parents out there don't have. And that's when I support Lori, because I only get the people when they have problems, when they cannot make it anymore, when they're desperate, when they're sick. I'm so sorry. But a lot of the people, most of this percentage of the world wait in the last minute and sometimes don't even believe of the therapy because they don't see it or they don't understand it.
And we've done a previous podcast with the mom guilt, but a lot of moms out there will wait until their children are fully grown and have children of their own before they put the oxygen mask on themselves. At this point, they're probably already a regular with doctors and hospital visits, and it's not too late. It's never too late. But if you could hear us as we say, there's so much that can be done while you support your families, but you have to support yourself. And we are here. We team together for podcasts frequently because we complement each other in the healing process of individuals. So I'm on the prevention side in helping people figure out themselves sooner rather than later. And those people who wait till later to make a plan for themselves usually come in with trauma and some baggage. Those people are sent to Ada and vice versa. So we share clients because together is better. I guess together is better.
Together, power of two. That's what we've been calling it for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I had to understand when I met Lori is that in one of these categories, I'm a dreamer,
Mm-hmm.
right? We also talk about dreamers in another podcast because, people like us, most of the time, is misunderstood. They're like, oh, that will never happen.
They're too scattered.
Yeah, it's like you're doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear this and start killing our, dreams,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which Walt Disney, if he didn't dream, there will be no Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even see it in the physical world, but he saw it here first.
Mm-hmm.
That is why when I became a hypnotherapist, it was wonderful because, you can actually induct the mind. I won't say manipulate because in advertising marketing, that's what I learned in college to manipulate the mind. But now with hypnotherapy we can change those programs, and if we know the personality when they come to work it, and where your strengths are, now you can put them to work instead of beating yourself down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And kind of closing out the analysis piece of this is so important for everybody to understand. There is a teaching out there, especially in the school system when you're young, that the more research you do, the better educated you are. And there's fact to that. But in our world, as you leave that traditional school environment, if you're still conditioned to do all of that crazy research, your mind is now spinning with confusion because there's so much information available to you and so many different viewpoints. You can easily get into a paralysis mode that will lead to illness. And I can't stress that enough because that's what I see.
And I really appreciate it because this morning you said, let's talk analysis is paralysis. And I've been thinking about it because at one point, I'm a person that is always studying, learning new things because of my ADD. I'm going to say it, but I know that's how I had it controlled because I had this mind spin so much that needs to slow down getting information. So I tell people out there, that's why I started meditating. That's why I started breathing, because we're so misunderstood. We have so much to give, right, Lori? And it's so analysis. We all at some point get there, but there is some people that live there. And when you live there, you gotta remember this, because I lived that in my life. There's 3 things that will make you psychotic, and it's stress, depression, and anxiety. And that is the perfect recipe for psychosis. So those 3, and usually everybody, oh, I'm anxious, oh, I have anxiety, and you own it, you start putting it in your reality. So the word for me is take you out of that reality that you false created in your mind and put new information. But there is some information that cannot be changed, and that's your personality. So you need to respect that, and that's what's so important to notice.
It is so important. In today's world, there's a lot of focus on mental health, and Ada and I are part of the mental health community. We just do it in a different way. So for those out there that are really struggling with their own mental health, and you are not receiving what you feel is going to be beneficial for you, we're here. We tag team, and we've had great results, and we do not want people to end up in the hospital for reasons that they could have prevented if they would just be open to learning more about themselves.
Yes.
And wanting to heal their past. So learning more about yourself, making a plan for your future, and healing your past. So that's what we do together in a non-traditional way.
And I like that, the non-traditional, I call it a holistic way, you know, with your body, your mind, your spirit, your body, your mind, your nutrition. I call it your body, your mind, and your soul. We all see it different, but it's working, you know, open to different things, because as I said, the old world, it's already the old world. This is the new world where a lot of things are possible, and, you know, we're not conventional. And not being conventional doesn't mean you're not good or you don't prove your results. We do have, you know, background with certifications, everything we need. We just, you know, don't advertise it and put it out there everywhere. But if you need to see it, we can provide it to you. And we know what we're talking about. We have been working for years, Lori, with 30 years in human resources. You know, that's...
And watching personalities. So personalities is my full-time job, is managing personalities and understanding them and helping them get to their happy place in life.
Yes. And I help them to go in their happy place, and anytime they need to access that happy place, they can go there. Because a lot of people just know to be in the pity place or the unhappy place or the whatever place is, whatever role you're playing that day, you know.
If you're tired of being in the pity room, we are happy to get you out of the pity room.
Yes, we'll pull you out with all the tools we have. So thank you for listening. This is Emotional Breakdowns. Why emotional breakdowns? Because if your analysis take you to a paralysis, you don't move forward, and now maybe you're having an anxiety attack or a psychosis attack or a mental issue or I don't know what, but we can help you. We're going to get you out of there. Thank you, Lori, one more time.
Thank you
for being here, and we'll see you next time in Emotional Breakdowns. Lori, the power of two.